This is what happens when America hires a guy that's not smarter than a fifth grader for president. Someone needs to remind him he's a public servant. He is not a king or emperor of the world. In fact, we are his king and queens. And what's Elon Musk's son doing in the White House conference? Hello, everyone. A big thank you to all my subscribers. I value your trust and support. Thank you so much to you always. Please, I am looking for more subscribers to join the internet family. Please, if you are watching and you are not subscribed, please, I ask you to do so. Thank you in advance. Let us carry on. What a circus. Can't say we didn't try to warn folks. The man thinks he can just take people's land and move them wherever he wants. What does that sound like to you? This is not a chess game. It is serious, and making threats is not going to bring peace or unity to anyone. The world cannot let him get away with this insanity. I cannot believe no one is allowed to stop this madness. America with this man as a president is going backwards 100 years plus. And no one is saying anything. Quite unbelievable. The man is totally insane. The king of Jordan was taken by surprise by Trump. Jordan's king couldn't believe what Trump was saying. Kept blinking. Probably thought he had dropped into an alternate reality. Trump really has lost his marbles. Just for a moment. If this was happening in Africa, China, or Russia, there would be an outcry about dictators. However, when it is happening in America, everyone goes very quiet except the named countries. Everything seems to be happening in the rear mirror. How can it be? The whole world is watching this madness with disbelief. Where is the United Nations? I am hoping that the American military has an obligation to refuse any illegal orders they are given. Emperor Trump has no shame asking American armed forces to go against their legal obligation. I've been so disappointed in the mainstream media's response to the threats this clown has made to Canadians, South Africans, Mexico, Greenland, and to Gazans. I cannot even begin to fathom how anyone can tell another country that you are going to take it from its citizens. People, are you hearing me? Trump said he is going to buy Greenland, and he is going to take Gaza because there is nothing to buy. This is shocking to the core. No surprise that the Canadians are boycotting anything USA. Friends, family, and co-workers, same thing. Some Canadians have even quit their US jobs. Trump's madness is affecting so many people around the world. I mean the people who love peace and unity around the world. A bunch of us were not around in World War II. But this maniac is putting all of us over the world in danger. I used to be able to sleep at night. Now I fall asleep, but I wake up suddenly with my heart thumping and my BPM at 101. And I am not even in the named countries that he wants to take or not buy. Trump even accidentally admitted 500,000 Palestinians were deleted in Netanyahu's Israel. The whole Trump time is not just really weird anymore. It is so scary and dangerous for the whole planet in every sense. We stand behind you and all our allies who are suffering damage from Trump. We will also no longer buy products made in the USA and will postpone our vacation if Trump continues with this madness. Let's take a listen to Michael Cohen, and Ben Mycilas gives me some hope. Please take a listen to Michael Cohen. Michael was Trump's lawyer. Yes, he paid his price for working for Trump and has nothing to lose for speaking the truth.
Welcome to Political Beatdown. I'm Ben Mycilas, joined by Michael Cohen. Let's just get right into it. You had King Abdullah from Jordan in the Oval Office. You can see on his face the visual grimacing as Donald Trump talked about invading, taking, or occupying Gaza. By the way, if you take a look at Donald Trump's face today, quite literally he's painting his face orange at this point. I mean, like literally, we did the color palette. But this is real. That's not an AI image. His face is just bright red orange. But let's talk about some serious stuff that he's saying, which is yesterday was that he was going to buy it and own it via buying Gaza. Today he's talking about just taking it, grabbing it, and then I guess ethnically cleansing everybody and pushing them out to countries that are not agreeable to, one, taking them, and the Palestinians are not leaving. They're saying this is our land. You can't just ethnically cleanse us. Here's what Donald Trump said. Let's play it.
I really think we're making some very good progress.
Mr. President, you said before that the U.S. would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What is that?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it. We're going to get it going eventually, where a lot of jobs are going to be created for the people in the Middle East. It's going to be for the people in the Middle East, but I think it can be a diamond. It can be an absolute tremendous asset for the Middle East, and you're going to have peace. It's going to bring peace in the Middle East. Gaza.
So then he's asked, under what authority can you take it? What's your authority? Here, let's play this clip.
States was something that we're going to talk about later to discuss all these options.
And Mr. President, take it under what authority? It is sovereign territory.
Under the U.S. authority.
And Mr. President.
Then he's asked if they don't leave. Then he's asked, okay, well, that's their homeland. So if they don't leave, what are you going to do? They don't want to leave because it's not a transactional real estate to them. This is their homeland. Here, listen to what he says. Let's play it.
That rule those countries with big hearts, and this gentleman is at the top of the list.
And if they don't want to leave, how are you going to force them, Mr. President?
Oh, they're going to be great. They're going to be very happy.
Can you?
They're going to be great. They're going to be happy. And that's what he's saying too, Cohen, about Canada. He's doing more of the annex talk again. Meanwhile, there's a massive boycott of everything America in Canada, which is going to pick up on our economic records in about, it's lagging, but about 3 to 6 months, you're going to see this massive boycott. We'll talk about Canada in a bit. I want to get your reaction to Donald Trump taking, occupying, sending, American military into Gaza, more wars everywhere, Cohen?
You know, Ben, since we started political beatdown together, our brigaders have heard me say time and time again, when Donald Trump tells you what he wants to do, it's not rocket scientist. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out what he's saying here. What he's saying, first of all, makes no sense other than one possible way. The only way to take Gaza is to invade it. Plain and simple. Does he intend to invade Gaza? The answer is yes. Yes. Now, when he talks about, it's war-torn, that nobody wants it, that we can just take it because it's all demolished and so on, well, so is kind of like Afghanistan, right? So was, parts of, there's parts of Ukraine. Why are we not going in to Ukraine and taking, Crimea, which is completely rubbled down, to the bare bones? Why are we not taking, other parts of the world? Because this is what he wants. He wants to take Gaza, and he will do it by invasion. He will do it by military force. It is the only way. We've heard Trump make certain statements about things like Israel is going to give us Gaza. And then you had that fucking idiot, Netanyahu, sitting there with this shit-eating grin on his face, talking like, yeah, that's right, Donald, that's right. Who knows what the guy was really thinking. I wish there was one of those, cartoon bubbles over his head. Israel doesn't own the Gaza Strip. I mean, it's not like you can hand over, as you were saying at the beginning of the show, Ben, a deed. It's not like you're going to be able to do something with it. The only way to take it is via invasion, via military force. And he will speak with King Abdullah of Jordan and say to King Abdullah, if we do this, will you oppose us? Will you allow us to park our F-16 jets on your land? Will you allow us access, to the waterways, right, for our ships and so on? This is what he's doing. He's already spoken, for example, I'm sure, to MBS, Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. I'm certain he's already spoken to Egypt about the exact same thing. He intends to take it. There's only one problem. What do you do with the Gazans that are there? What do you do in order to force, as he said, Egypt and Jordan to take the Gazans as political refugees, right? As refugees. And the answer is they're not taking them. I have a very close friend that lives in Jordan, and he's involved with government. They are not. They have done that once before, as did Egypt. And it almost ruined the country, according to them. They will not take them, no matter what Trump says. So we are right now in a real crisis. We have the President of the United States making statements to the world. Forget about what he's saying to us. To the world, to the Middle East what he intends to do. And I'm going to tell you, this is very dangerous for us, which is why I constantly say, you need to stay vigilant. You need to stay connected to networks like Midas Touch, like my podcast, in order to hear what is actually really happening and not this bullshit that these pundits are trying to, to soften. We are in a real crisis because what this is doing now is there is a cry for help from Hamas to Hezbollah to Al Qaeda to ISIS to ISIL to all of these militant groups and saying, look at what the infidel, the Western civilization, is looking to do to us. They are taking our land. This is where the danger comes in. And with some of the dopes that he now has sitting as heads of our national security, our intelligence agencies, be very careful. That's all I can say to you, my brigaders. Be careful.
So Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu also said they will be unleashing hell on Gaza and Hamas if all of the hostages are not returned by Saturday at noon. At the same time, Donald Trump said, regardless of whether hostages are returned to Israel or not, that Trump is going to level Gaza and ethnically cleanse its people. So during the ceasefire, right, during this delicate ceasefire that former President Biden negotiated, Donald Trump talks about leveling Gaza no matter what the outcome is with the hostages. I don't know how that is a form of productive negotiations if you've already told the other side that the outcome, no matter what is, that you are going to demolish and destroy Gaza to begin with. So then Donald Trump says at this point, if you don't return all of the hostages, while Donald Trump talks about ethnically cleansing the whole area, he's going to unleash hell. And Benjamin Netanyahu has said that. And what it seems that he's really trying to do, with whether it's with Canada, with Greenland, with Colombia, with Panama, you name it, he is bloodthirsty. And you predicted it. He wants a war. He wants to drop bombs. He wants guts and gore and death. That's what he wants, right, Cohen?
Ben, can I just bring up something which, when I heard him say that he wants all of the hostages released by Saturday noontime, I started to look. I want the hostages to be released today. I want them to have been released a month ago, no, a year ago, right? I didn't want any hostages taken at all. But I sort of started thinking to myself and saying, it's a very interesting thing that he's saying here. Saturday at noontime. And why is it interesting? It's interesting because it could have been any other day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, right, Sunday. But why Saturday? Because Donald Trump has no concept of religion at all. That, by coincidence, happens to be Shabbos, right? That's the holy day of the week for the Jewish people. So why, of all the days that you could demand that Hamas, a terrorist organization, releases hostages, why not do it on Friday at 12 o'clock? In that way that these hostages can be seen by their families for the Sabbath, right? I mean, I just found it so funny that he would turn it because he has no religious conviction at all. Of all the days to possibly pick, why in the world are you picking the one day that the country is sort of praying, right? Because it's our Sabbath. I just think it's comical.
Well, while he's doing all of this, he's whining about the results of the 2024 election. He's saying that it was rigged, the 2024 election. He says Vice President Kamala Harris did not get 75 million votes. That's what he's spending his time complaining about. Here, play this clip.
Still, Kamala Harris got 75 million votes in the country.
Well, if you believe the whole thing.
Yeah, okay. Let's just say
it is ridiculous.
That the election.
Great interview there, Brett Baer.
You're right. Brett Baer is like, he's like, you know what Brett Baer reminds me of, Ben? You know, like that dog that you have that sits on your dashboard and the head just bounces up and down, one of those bobbleheads?
Yeah, you're
That's
so
what
right.
That's what Brett Baer reminded me of when I watched this stupid interview. Not a single intelligent question pushback. Not one. Whatever Trump wants to say with his laminates.
You see Brett Baer's home in Florida. He lives in like a $40 million mansion. So
Yeah.
$40 million, Brett. Yeah, I'll screw all the Americans. Ha 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 ha.
Exactly.
Ha ha ha. I screwed my country. My legacy is being a piece of shit. I'm Brett Baer. Ha 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 ha. I mean, that's really what it is right there. I mean, I became you there for a Cohen right there. Hey, Cohen, by the way, Donald Trump then talks about annexing Canada. Let's talk about this clip. Let's play it.
As an example, Canada, if we make it in the United States, we don't need it to be made in Canada. We'll have the jobs. That's why Canada should be our 51st state. We'll bring back industries and we'll bring back our jobs and we'll make America industry great again. So essentially, we're putting on a 25% tariff without exception on all aluminum and all steel. And it's going to mean a lot of businesses are going to be opening in the United States.
That's actually going to mean the American economy is going to crash because Canada right now is boycotting all American stuff. They're buying in Canada, no American products. It's a scar. If you're in Canada and you buy anything American, it's like buying poison there, going right now. Like almost the entire population. It is a scarlet letter if people show up and see you have anything American in Canada. Also, unless you're forced to visit the United States, in Canada right now, the boycott is so massive. Visiting the United States, having rental property in the U.S., owning homes in the U.S. if you're Canadian, is viewed as like the worst thing you can do. People are selling their homes, whether they have vacation homes in Florida or elsewhere. Yeah. And get this, if just 10% of Canadians boycott tourism in America, that would cause a $2 billion damage to the American economy and cost 144,000 jobs, according to the American tourism industry. I mean, I'll look at the comments right now. I think that boycott will between 50% to 100% boycott of American stuff with tourism and then with products as well. I mean, Canada is united. The Conservatives, Liberals, New Democratic Party, Green Party, I've never seen them more united. You got a few MAGA Maple still stragglers, a few, but overall Canada's never been this united. Canada then is setting an example for Europe, Australia, across the world, and they're following suit. This is about to be a calamity year for Donald Trump, and it's going to start showing up in a few months. Cohen.
You know, one of the other things that you and I have been talking about since deciding to start this beatdown and to create this brigader community is, what were those 77 million people thinking when, as many times as I know I have been on television, in the press, and you with your network, what were they thinking when they decided to vote for him as opposed to Joe Biden or Kamala Harris? And when I say them, I want to just touch on three groups, Ben. Join me for a second here, right? Three groups. Venezuelans, right? You have also Muslim Americans. And let me just pick on the United Auto Workers, who we
Pick on
now
the Teamsters.
know.
Pick on the Teamsters.
Okay.
Pick on the Teamsters head Sean O'Brien, not rank and file,
Exactly.
Leadership.
When Trump turns around and says that we're going to build factories here in America, to build the vehicles ourselves, and so on, anybody think for a quick second, how long does it take to build a facility? What are you going to do? You're going to pick it up from Canada, put it on a flatbed, and bring it off here to the United States, and then just assemble it in pieces? You have any idea how long it takes to build a factory that produces a vehicle? It's time to wake up, all right? Then you have the Muslim Americans. Oh, F Joe Biden, right? And F. Kamala Harris. And all of a sudden, it's like, look at, what did they call Joe Biden with that? It was like Wartime Joe or something like that, where they were, he's doing nothing for the Muslims. He's all in with Israel. He's, wanting to destroy Gaza. When did you ever hear Kamala Harris or Joe Biden turn around and say that we have intention to own and to displace all the Gazans? When did you hear that? It is insulting. It's not just insulting, it's insane. There's no other way to describe it. And all genocide Joe, thank you, Shai, right? And this is what you got where they turn around and they just destroyed Joe Biden, and in so doing, destroyed Kamala Harris. And then, as I said, with the auto industry, you have Gaza, and then you also have Venezuelans. Right now, you're seeing a whole group of them saying to themselves, "Oh my God, what did I do? I never thought he would come after me." Right? It wasn't supposed to be about me. My kids are birthright citizens, and now they're talking about deporting them all. They are freaking out. They're in Florida, and I turn around and I say to them, you asked for it, and I told you. How many times did I? And people are like, "Oh my God, would you stop yelling?" And so, no, I can't stop yelling because it's the only way sometimes to get through to some people. But I guess I didn't yell loud enough because now the Venezuelans that voted for him are saying, "What the hell did we do?" And I say, "You fucked yourselves. That's what you did.